All right, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and citations to all the Akim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash in truth and in sincerity, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, Brakatam. Okay, in this lesson, what I want to go into is, simply, we understand that according to prophecy, these Edomites and these heathens are going to lash out. They're going to come down with great wrath. Okay, knowing that he hath a short time. Okay, but nonetheless, the Lord has promised protection for us. Okay, and it's promised and prophesied in the scriptures that the Lord is going to lift up a standard for us. Okay, that the Lord is going to fight for us. Okay, and defend us. And, that's just something I just really want to go into very briefly in this lesson. And Lord willing, this video is edifying. Salakia. All right. So, the first precept I want to bring out, which you see on the screen, is Isaiah 59:19. It says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." Okay. All right. So, the Lord promised and prophesied that in these latter days, when our enemies come up against us, all right, which we know that Esau is getting ready to do that. He has plans to do that. Okay. Because he knows that he has but a short time. He's going to throw the whole kitchen sink. Okay. All right. At the elect of the nation of Israel, at the remnant of the Lord's seed. Okay. The Lord promised that he was going to lift up a standard. All right, now that word, a standard, I'm going to look it up very quickly. In the blue letter on my phone. And if you have access to a computer right now, you can do that as well and just follow along. But okay, so Isaiah 59:19, okay, the word for standard is nawas, okay, and it means to flee, to escape, to flee, to escape, to take flight, depart, disappear, to fly, to attack on horseback, to drive at, to take flight, to put to flight, to drive hastily, to cause to disappear, to hide. Okay, also in the ledger. Okay, side notes on my Bible right here in front of me, it says, or put him to flight. Okay, so during those times when Esau, implements martial law, okay, when they start coming after the prophets in a physical manner, okay, Esau and these heathens and 2/3 of our people, the Lord is going to intervene. Okay, the Lord is going to intervene on our behalf and have it to where we escape from his hands, or Esau and our enemies are put to flight, meaning that they have to flee from us, because whatever power that the Lord gives to us, or whatever host of angels that the Lord has to defend us. Okay, so I'll read this verse again. It says Isaiah 59:19. It says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west." Okay, so clearly we're gonna have the name. All right, we're gonna have the name in the Western Hemisphere, which we're in right now. "And his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." And these heathens and, these Edomites going to keep trying to get at us, all right, all the way till the Lord comes back, man. But the Lord, at the end, when it's all said and done, the Lord's going to come back in the chariots and he's going to deliver us, okay? And that's just what it is. He's going to deliver us from our enemies, and he's going to put our enemies to flight, okay? Because they don't want none of that work with Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, man. He's the God of hosts, okay? The God of the armies of Israel, okay? And there's nothing they can do to truly combat in any way or his power, man, okay? And, the Lord has done this, for us before in time past, okay? Matter of fact, since I'm in the book of Isaiah, let's see. Since I'm in the book of Isaiah, how about okay. Um okay. I'm going to read Isaiah 37, okay? And I'm going to start at verse 1, and it's going to be a kind of a long read, so please bear with me. But just to bring out an example in the scriptures, okay, of how the Lord has done this for us before, okay? It says, "And it came to pass when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered his face with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth unto Isaiah the prophet. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, this day is a day of trouble and of rebuke and of blasphemy, for the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be that the Lord thy God will hear the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria his master hath sent to reproach the living God, and to reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. And will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left." Okay, and basically to give some background on what it is that's happening in this particular chapter. In the previous chapter, all right, you had the Assyrians, okay, during the time of Sennacherib, okay, who was the king of Assyria at the time. All right, the Assyrians had already conquered the northern kingdom of Israel. The kingdom of Israel was split into two, going back to the time of King Solomon, and after him, Rehoboam and Jeroboam, okay, and the northern kingdom of Israel fell into sin, okay, and the Lord brought the Assyrians upon them and totally conquered the land of the northern kingdom of Israel, okay. And as the Assyrian Empire grew in power, okay, they began to expand further into the southern kingdom of Judah. And by this time here, during Hezekiah's time, they had conquered many of the stronghold cities of the southern kingdom of Judah. Okay, and they were making their moves on Jerusalem. They had planned to siege Jerusalem, and they had threatened Hezekiah that that's exactly what they were going to do. Okay, if Hezekiah did not surrender. Okay. And so, Hezekiah, hearing this report, is afraid. Okay, he's in sorrow, and he sends his officers and his dignities that were over, the affairs of the nation of Israel. He sent them to Isaiah the prophet, okay, to speak to Isaiah concerning what they heard, okay, from the king of Assyria and his officers. All right, and he sends his messengers to Isaiah to ask Isaiah to pray for Jerusalem, okay, so that they be not given over into the hands of the Assyrians, okay, because the Assyrians were a very cruel people, okay. They did use a lot of psychological tactics when they made war, okay, and they were just vicious in general, okay. So moving forward, just to give the background. Okay, verse 5, it says, "So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say unto your master." Okay, so Isaiah is telling Hezekiah's servants to tell Hezekiah, "Thus saith the Lord, be not afraid of the words that thou hast heard, wherewith the servants of the kings of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land." So Rabshakeh returned to and found the king of Assyria warring at Libnah, against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And he had heard concerning Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, he is come forth to make war with thee. And when he heard it, he sent messengers to King Hezekiah, saying, "Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God in whom thou trustest deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria." Okay, so by this point, Isaiah tells the servants of Hezekiah to tell Hezekiah that the Lord was going to deliver Jerusalem from the hand of the king of Assyria. Okay, they were not going to be able to conquer Jerusalem as they did the other nations that they had conquered and the other regions that they had conquered, and that the king of Assyria was eventually going to die. Okay, and moving forward. Actually, I want to read that verse 10 again. This is the king of Assyria telling his messengers to speak to King Hezekiah. All right, verse 10, it says, "Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God in whom thou trustest deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands by destroying them utterly, and shall thou be delivered? Which Salakia says, have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my father have destroyed, as Gazan and Haran and Reseph, and the children of Edom, which were in Telasar? Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arphad, and the king of Seraphim, the king of the city of Sepharvaim, Hena and Zua?" Okay, so the king of Assyria is continuing, with his rhetoric. Okay, you guys won't be delivered. The Lord won't deliver you. Which one of the gods of the nations that I conquered delivered them? Okay, and do you think you're going to be delivered? Okay. Verse 14, it says, "And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up unto the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed unto the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, thou that dwellest between the cherubims, thou art the God, even thou alone of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Incline thine ear, O Lord, and hear. Open thine eyes, O Lord, and see. Hear all the words of Sennacherib, which have sent to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste all the nations in their countries, and have cast down their gods into the fire. For they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them." Okay, so Hezekiah goes into the temple, and he has the letter that the king of Assyria sent by his messengers, and he spreads the letter, okay, before the Lord in the temple, and he prays unto the Lord. He says, "Hey, Lord, you're the true power. Okay, you're the real God of heaven and earth. You made everything." Okay, and yes, it's true. The king of Assyria the kings of Assyria did destroy all these nations, and they have cast the gods of those nations into the fire. Okay. But those gods were not the real gods. Okay, those gods were gods of wood and stone made by the hands of men. Okay. Verse 20, it says, "Now therefore, O Lord our God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord, even thou only." Then Hezekiah prays, "Lord, deliver us from the hands of the kings of Assyria, so that they may know that you're the true power of heaven and earth." Okay, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know this. Okay. Then Isaiah the son of Amos sent unto Hezekiah, saying, "Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, whereas thou hast prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Assyria, this is the word which the Lord hath spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Zion, hath despised thee and laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem hath shaken her head at thee. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed, and against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even the Holy One of Israel? By thy servants thou hast reproached the Lord, and hast said, By the multitude of my chariots I am come up to the height of the mountains, to the sides of Lebanon. I will cut down the tall cedars thereof, and of the choice fir trees thereof, and I will enter into the height of his border, and of the forest of his Carmel. I have digged and drunk water, and with the sole of my feet have I dried up all the rivers of the besieged places. Hast thou not heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times that I have formed it? Now have I brought it to pass, that thou shouldest be to lay waste the fenced cities, into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green herb, and as the grass of the housetops, and as corn blasted before it is grown. But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me. Because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come into mine ears, therefore will I put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips. I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest. Okay, so Isaiah sent messengers to Hezekiah to let Hezekiah know that the Lord has heard the reproach of the king of Assyria. Okay, how proud he's been. Okay, he's prideful because the Assyrians have, by their chariot, by their armies, conquered these nations. Okay, but as verse 26 begins, the Lord is making a proclamation, making it known that the reason why the kings of Assyria were able to do it is because the Lord spoke it from ancient times. The Lord is the one who gave the power to the Assyrians to do this. Okay, because the Lord is the one who rules in the kingdom of men. Okay, so the kings of Assyria had no reason to be prideful. Okay, and the Lord basically said that he was going to do something to force the king of Assyria, Sennacherib, from Jerusalem and cause him to retreat and not fulfill the desire that he had upon Jerusalem, which was to conquer it. Okay. Verse 30, it says, "And this shall be a sign unto thee. Ye shall eat this year such as groweth of itself, and in the second year that which sprinkleth of the same, and in the third year sow ye and reap and plant vineyards and eat the fruit thereof. And the remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and they that escape of Mount Zion, the zeal of the Lord of hosts shall do this. Therefore thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot any arrow there, nor come before it with the shields, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into the city, saith the Lord. For I will defend this city, and to save it for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake." Then the angel of the Lord went forth and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So the king of Assyria departed and went and returned and dwelt in Nineveh. And it came to pass, as he was worshipping in the house of Nisroch his god, that Adramelech and Sharezer his son smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Asar-Haddon his son reigned in his stead. Okay, so basically what happens is that the Lord prophesies to Hezekiah concerning Jerusalem, saying basically, you guys are good. Okay, y'all good. All right, y'all gonna rejoice before the Lord. Okay, and pretty much mock at the idea that the Assyrians are gonna conquer Jerusalem. Okay, because the Lord was gonna protect the city. Okay, which the Lord did. And how did the Lord do that? The Lord sent an angel. Okay, into the camp of the Assyrians. All right, into their, because in the ancient world, when armies would come up against a nation, they would camp a whiles away, a distance away from the city. Okay, and they would set up their army there. They would set up their tents and their horses and everything like that. So the Lord sent an angel, okay, forth into the camp of the Assyrians and slew 185,000. Okay, so 165,000. Okay. Now, 185,000. Wow, that's a whole lot. Okay, because a score is 20, 4 scores 80. 185,000. Okay, were slain by an angel of the Lord. Okay, and when they rose early in the morning, okay, it was a bunch of dead bodies, man. And the king of Assyria, Sennacherib, ended up fleeing from Jerusalem to go back into Nineveh. And when he went to go worship in the house of his God, his own sons put him to death and set up another one of his sons over him. Okay, so that's an example of the Lord lifting up a standard to defend his people. Okay, that's what it is, man. And that's going to happen again in these times, man, in whatever fashion the Lord would have it to happen. Okay, because we know in part and we prophesy in part. All right, but nonetheless, there's no new thing under the sun. Okay. And I mean, there's plenty of other examples, man. You could go to Exodus. Okay, you could go to the account with Pharaoh and his army and how the Lord jacked them up. Okay, the list goes on and on. I want to bring out some other precepts. That's a good one. That's a good precept. Let's go to Isaiah 17. Isaiah 17 and 12, it says, "Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations, that make a rushing like the rushing of many waters. The nations shall rush like the rushing of many waters, but God shall rebuke them. And they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind." Okay, so what is this talking about? This is talking about the same thing that Isaiah 59 and 19 is talking about. Okay, when the enemies shall come in like a flood, man. These other nations, all right, chiefly these Edomites, are stirring themselves up. Okay, they're rousing themselves up. They're going to rouse themselves up to rush upon the Lord's people. Okay, but the Most High is going to rebuke them. Okay, the Lord is going to lift up a standard. Okay, whether it is that the Lord allows his remnant to escape, okay, or the Lord sends an angel, okay, to cause the enemies to flee, performs a miracle, performs a sign, okay, sends the chariots, okay, or whatever the Lord will have. All right, especially when World War III pops off, man, and these foreign troops are over here and all over the world, man. Okay, they gonna know who we are, man, and the Lord's gonna have to send, okay, fire from heaven. He's gonna have to send the chariots to deliver us from their hand. Okay, and they're gonna flee away, man. They're gonna be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind, man, like tumbleweed. Okay. Verse 14, it says, "And behold, at evening time trouble, and before the morning he is not." Okay, so these heathens are going to just be jacked up, okay, on every side. The Lord, they ain't going to have no escape from the power of the Lord. "This is the portion of them that spoil us, and the lot of them that rob us," man. Okay, this is their portion. This is their inheritance to come up against us. Okay, and then the Lord rebuke them. Okay, the Lord destroy them from off the face of the earth. Okay. Let's get Isaiah 54 and 17. It says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord, man. So the Lord is our righteousness. He is our justifier. Okay, and this is our heritage, man. That anybody who tries to come up against the Lord's servants, his prophets, his elect, okay, they shall be condemned. Okay, they shall not prosper. All right, no matter what they do. So they could throw the whole kitchen sink. They could do all the demonization, all the media propaganda they want. They ain't not going to succeed. Okay, they could even put certain brothers to death. Guess what? Oh, death, where is thy sting? Oh, grave, where is thy victory? Okay, that weapon ain't going to prosper. Guillotine ain't going to prosper. Okay, none of that going to prosper, man, because the Lord's going to destroy our enemies, man. And the Lord's going to set us up on top. Okay, over them. All right. I got another precept. This is Psalm 124 and 1. It says, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick. Okay, because we don't got no might, man. We ain't got no power in this world, man. Okay, so if it was a carnal battle, we would have lost. Okay, when their wrath was kindled against us, then the waters had overwhelmed us. The stream had gone over our soul. Then the proud waters had gone over our soul. Okay, and that's the same imagery. Okay, the same analogy used, okay, in Isaiah 17, in Isaiah 59 and 19, okay, the enemy coming in as a flood, okay, as a rushing of mighty waters, of as the noise of the seas, okay, All right. The Lord describes them as waters, man, as a flood coming to overthrow something or to overwhelm something or to subdue something, because it's a multitude of them. OK, the same way water from a flood or from a wave comes and overthrows or overflows over everything in its path, even in its path. OK. All right. Like a tidal wave, like you see on the screen. OK. All right. But the scriptures say if it had not been for the Lord, then they would have swallowed us up quick. OK. But that's not the case, man. The Lord is on our side, man. The Lord is with us. Okay, verse 6, Psalm 124:6. Blessed be the Lord who hath not given us as a prey to their teeth. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped. Okay, so we're gonna escape, man. Okay, we're gonna be scarcely saved, man. They're gonna think it's gonna look carnally in the flesh like there's no hope. Okay. All right, like it's gonna look like they almost got us, okay? But we're gonna escape as a bird out of the snares of a fowler, man. Okay, what do birds do? They fly to escape, all right, danger, right? And that's what birds do. Okay, how's the Lord going to have us escape? He's going to come with the chariots, okay? And the chariots are going to lift us up off the ground into the atmosphere, all right? And we're going to be defended from our enemies, man, okay? We're going to escape out of their hands, all right? In verse 8, our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth, man. Okay, that's why when these things happen, man, you got to be in prayer, man. You got to be praying to Yahweh Shema Shai to deliver us, man, like Hezekiah did, man. Okay? And the Lord heard him. I'm going to bring out a final precept in Revelation 20, and I'm going to close this out. And Lord willing, this was edifying to the Akim. This is Revelation 20, and I'll start at verse 8. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, and Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Okay, and we're in those times, okay, where the nations are being gathered together with Gog and Magog, okay, to battle, okay, in the Middle East, okay. Verse 9, it says, and they went up on the breadth of the earth to compass the saints, to compass the camp of the saints about. Okay, so it's going to be World War III, man. It's going to be troops, okay, from Gog and Magog, from these other heathen nations, okay, troops from everywhere, man, all over the place, man. Okay, even here in Babylon the Great. Okay, it's going to be foreign troops over here, and they're going to come up against the camp of the saints, man, which is the people, man. All right, the elect. Okay, and the beloved city, which is Jerusalem, is a people before it's a place. All right. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Okay, so the Most High is gonna light them up, man. He gonna turn them into a smoke, into ashes, man, by raining fire upon them from heaven through the chariots, man. Okay, all right. So hey, that's what it is, and the missiles. Okay, so yeah, man. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Okay. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash, and double honors